Welcome to GreenBiz Studio. I'm John Davies, Senior Vice President at GreenBiz, and I'm excited to be speaking today with Whitney Kakos, Director, Supply Chain Sustainability for Keurig Dr. Pepper. Welcome, Whitney.
Hi, John. Good to be with you.
So, Whitney, Keurig Dr. Pepper is really well known for building responsible supply chains in coffee. In fact, you recently reached key milestones in this area, so what's next?
Thanks, John. Yes, we recently hit two 2020 goals. Those were focused on coffee. They were 100% responsibly sourced and then engaging 1 million people in our supply chain to improve their lives. Going forward, some things are staying the same. So we're going to keep a focus on three key areas: responsible sourcing, very compliance focused, topics like human rights, for example, but then two other pillars on nature and livelihoods, which is where we want to go beyond compliance, seeking that positive impact. What's new and different is that we're a very different company than we were when we set those 2020 goals. So we think of ourselves as a modern beverage company with a very diverse set of supply chains. So of course, appliances, coffee, but a whole bunch of raw material ingredients going into the beverages. So what's new is expanding that focus to include those other supply chains. And we've just set in 2021 our first across supply chain goal, and that is to support regenerative ag and conservation on 250,000 acres of land by 2030. And we'll hit that one through work in coffee, yes, but also in apple juice concentrate, and corn supply chains.
So can you talk a little bit more about what the drivers are for this focus on regenerative agriculture and why companies are focusing there and why it's relevant to KDP?
So regenerative agriculture is quite a buzzword, as I'm sure you know right now. We are seeing interest in it all across the links of the supply chain. So our upstream suppliers are talking about it, our downstream customers are talking about it, our peers all around us are talking about it. So it is everywhere. And I think why it's capturing hearts and minds of people and companies is really because it is broad enough to capture all of the environmental impacts we care about: mitigating climate change, soil health, biodiversity, water, but also the social side. So a regenerative system needs to have profitable farmers to ensure that this crop system can keep going into the long-term future. So it's appealing for that broadness and its flexibility, yet it also has to be very bespoke to the particular farm. In terms of KDP's engagement with it, it's not completely new to us. We've been doing this type of holistic work with coffee growers for decades. It might have been called climate smart ag or water smart ag. So it has a bit of a new name. So we'll build on those lessons and take that forward, learning from what we did in coffee to these new supply chains I was just mentioning to you.
So given those lessons that you've learned from, what are some of the biggest challenges that KDP and other companies face when it comes to implementing regenerative agriculture in their supply chains?
It does come with challenges. Two that I would call out are just simply defining it, and then also getting into the technical side of measuring it. For the defining it side, it is a little bit of the Wild West, like sustainability was and maybe still is for many. So it's really important to consult and align with others in this space. So we've been spending a lot of time talking to groups like the Sustainable Agriculture Initiative or the SCI Platform, the Sustainable Food Lab, the Midwest Row Crop Collaborative. You know, we're not the first going into this space, and there's a lot of good work going on to align on a clear definition, and we want to be part of that. It's super important for credibility, avoiding greenwashing. The measurement part gets technical for sure, and the challenge I would call out there is this difference between measuring practices and measuring outcomes. And I think one of the things we learned from coffee was the importance of looking not, for example, at the number of people who attend a training, which would be, say, an output, but the behavior change in those people who attended that training. So an outcome, what has actually changed for those people in their lives? And applying that to the regenerative ag world, You want to not just look at what the farmers are doing, but what is the impact on these outcomes that we want to have. And that is easier said than done, John. It's more expensive, harder to do. So we won't necessarily get there from the beginning. It's going to be a journey, but it's something we're committed to. And again, from that coffee experience, we think is very important.
Thanks. Well, good luck on this journey. It sounds very exciting. I've been speaking with Whitney Kakos, Director, Supply Chain Sustainability for Keurig Dr. Pepper. Thanks, Whitney.
Thank you, John.